The live feed started 5 days later than I would have liked, but at this point, I don't care. Big Brother 27 is finally here in full force, and with it, we have 16 new house guests and Rachel freaking Reilly to observe, study, root for, and root against over the next 2.5 months. When the cast was first revealed to us, I was feeling extremely high, to the point that I knew I was setting myself up for disappointment, as there was no way that they could all live up to my expectations. But so far, they haven't let me down, and it has been quite the hot start. These people are gaming, and most of them aren't too good at it, which makes it all the more fun and entertaining. Consider subscribing to start the season right, as I'll be uploading twice a week for the entirety of Big Brother 27. And without further ado, here is my assessment of the Big Brother 27 cast and my predictions for the season as a whole.
Rachel's a formidable player, and it's like, you know, you've gotten your bag. Like, love you, girl, but go back to Alabama.
Hey, please keep in mind that as this is being released after the veto episode, I will be discussing the results of the veto competition, as well as which nominees might be in the most danger if they don't win the blockbuster. So if you're behind on the episodes and don't want to be spoiled, maybe sit this one out until you've watched the veto episode.
Vinny's word does not mean jack.
Starting things off, we unfortunately have one of the players I am most worried about, and that's Kelley. Kelley seems like a nice enough figure. However, before the season even began, I got the feeling like she could be one of the early boots here. And my suspicions were confirmed once she unnecessarily volunteered herself for the block. Now she's nominated with the majority of the house down to vote her out, and so much of it is because of her own doing. Even if she does manage to save herself in the blockbuster tonight, or if the vote flips onto Amy or Zay, I still see her being a perpetual easy target or pawn until she's inevitably evicted.
But now safety's out the window. Put me up.
Up next, we have Zach, and not to stereotype this guy, but he is exactly who I thought he would be. He's already broing down. He's been spewing his anti-Angela propaganda, he wants to target Amy, and he's already misused the term floater multiple times. However, Zach also has a lot of things going for him. He's clearly good at comps, he has that super busted $10,000 power that can keep him safe for any 1 week in the pre-jury, he's been surprisingly very active in terms of forming alliances, and somehow nobody is targeting him. His sphere of influence is very large right now, and although I do think that he will eventually become a big target, he's got enough of a cushion and enough allies at the moment to make a big push through the early and mid-game.
And she's telling me that I can find the love of my life and I can win the money?
Coming out the gates hot, we have Ashley. Originally, we were all feeling really good about Ashley, but after that silly shower incident rubbed many people the wrong way, and she was nominated, I was worried about her. But Ashley must have washed her hair with some of that mother shampoo, because she halted any potential eviction plans by winning the veto. Her little grouping with Rachel and Amy gives me a lot of hope for her in the coming weeks, especially if they can keep Amy here. And with a huge war hopefully brewing in the house, I can see her sliding through and reintegrating just fine.
Are you bothered that I took a shower? No. Okay.
Out of everyone on this cast, nobody confuses me more than Rylie. Before the season, I was low on him, but his interviews made me reconsider it. He comes in saying that he's a super fan, but he's purposefully staying out of some alliance strategy sessions, which just makes the others skeptical of him. He seems to be doing okay socially, but he also talks more than he should, and he has this weird intensity to him that isn't great. I think he'll be good at comps, but I just don't see an 80-plus day marathon being a setting that he'll thrive in. I don't think he's going to get targeted immediately, but I don't see him as someone that I think will win.
Keep my hat here, buddy, because I ain't going a damn place.
In terms of characters on this season, Amy has to be one of my favorites. She keeps it real, she's funny, and I'm loving this trio alliance she's got going on with Rachel and Ashley. I liked what we saw with her avoiding suspicion about being the accomplice. However, she is on the block and potentially in danger here. Zach seemingly has it out for her, and even though it's fantastic that she has Rachel fighting to keep her, I'm not sure how much she can do if Kelley wins the blockbuster comp. I do see potential in Amy, but she has to survive this week in order to make it happen.
I was the accomplice. I pulled it off. No one suspected me. I got 0 votes.
For as over-the-top and energetic as Adrian seemed to be in the preseason, he's been surprisingly uninvolved in the chaotic mess of gameplay. Almost too uninvolved, though, as he's not really the most connected, and one of the few players he does have a bond with, Kelley, is potentially getting evicted tonight. However, we are very early on into the game, and he has plenty of time to build stronger bonds and really find his place in the house. I do think he's going to be a very competent competitor, and I think he's funny. But Adrian, my little meatball-to-be, needs to do a little more social work if he wants a shot at some long-term survival.
She looks great for being in her early 30s.
Up next, we have Lauren, and Lauren is playing the game quietly but smartly. She's made a good connection with Katherine. Zach seems to love her, and I don't think anybody is suspecting her to have a ton of Big Brother knowledge, which she seemingly does. She's a dark horse contender that I really feel will be underestimated in the house, and I really wish that we had seen more of her this week so I could really lock in my good feelings about her. Even still, I think she's in a good spot, and I could definitely see her locking it in with a good group and making a deep run at this.
That makes 8 men and 9 women. So the accomplice must be a girl.
When I first saw Keanu's picture, he was the player that I was most excited to see. Since then, he has been pretty exciting to watch, but not in any good game type of way. He tried putting together a 10-person alliance this week, which is never going to work. He had a very public feud with Jimmy. He's not the most self-aware dude in the house. He made Morgan cry, and he was very nearly backdoored this week. I cannot believe I am saying this, but in the first few days, he has shown himself to be a less capable Devin Shepard, which is exactly why I need him to win the second HOH. I don't have any aspirations that he'll make it far, but he's making for good TV.
He's a weirdo. I'm a weirdo. This is someone I can work with.
Up next, we have Katherine. And I'm pretty unsure about her, but I'm leaning in a positive direction. She has a final 2 with Lauren, and I think she's in good with players like Zach and Morgan. But I just haven't seen her very much to really get a grasp of where she stands in the game. Nobody is really talking negatively about her though, which does put her above the average threshold. And I definitely see long-term potential in her if she can continue on with her good social abilities.
Ashley took so long to get ready, it was inconsiderate, but no one really cared, especially not me.
As the first HOH, Vince had so much potential to start the season off, and he's done nothing with it. Although his initial nominations did make sense on paper, he pushed himself into a corner by feeling forced to nominate Kelley, someone who was super loyal to him, even though everyone was telling him not to. It just doesn't make sense to me, and I have no idea why he even chose to win the first HOH. As it stands, Vince is not in like a terrible spot because he is leaving his HOH with not that many people mad at him, and he has a couple of good allies. But he is leaving so much on the table, and he's starting off the season by potentially evicting his ally, which is terrible. Also, he's shown to have, like, no backbone. Vince, I had such high hopes for you, and I'm just feeling a little disappointed right now.
Amy starts crying, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Should I start crying too?
Up next, we have Mickey, and Mickey seems to be in a really safe spot. She's got just enough connections with players like Morgan, Jimmy, and Will to keep her safe and in the know for the coming weeks, but she's not overdoing it and making a target out of herself, which is all great stuff. Even though it doesn't seem like she's too familiar with the Big Brother game, she's sticking to what she knows, aka being social, and it's keeping her out of anyone's crosshairs while also giving herself a boost to be picked up in some future alliances.
There's also someone that is helping this mass-minded eyebrow guy.
We have talked about 11 people so far, but I think if you combine all the work that they've done so far in the game, it doesn't beat the amount that Jimmy by himself has done. And I don't know if that's a huge positive. Jimmy is absolutely doing too much. He's a huge gamer and he's making new deals and alliances every single day, but he's also made some enemies. However, he's got a final 2 with Vince, he's in some sort of alliance with like half the house, and even after calling Keanu out at the veto meeting, he was able to make amends with him very quickly. Jimmy has been very entertaining and he has the tools to be a great player, but I don't think his current pace is sustainable. So he's someone that I'm keeping a close eye on in the coming weeks.
It's like annoying, like I'm not gonna lie. I'm not clapping, I'm not excited, like you won already.
To me, Morgan is someone who is playing similarly to Mickey, except with slightly higher highs and lower lows. She has more noticeable connections with players like Zach and Vince, but she's also openly talked about targeting Zay this week, which very easily could come back to bite her if he stays, which does seem kinda likely. Putting that aside though, Morgan is proving to be a very active player who is down to speak up about her thoughts, but she isn't a dictator about it. I have high hopes for Morgan this season. However, there is a world where the wrong person comes into power and she could end up on the block.
Rachel has won Big Brother before, and I'm a little sponge. I want to soak up as much as possible.
Zay is up next, and holy cow, this guy does not know what Big Brother is. He did nearly no preparation for the game other than asking ChatGPT what to do. He's already said at least one word he's not supposed to, and oh, look at that. He's on the block still. Now, the one thing that Zay has going for him is that seemingly all the bro guys are fighting for him to stay, and if the blockbuster competition is physical, he would likely be the favorite to come off the block. However, there are some whisperings of people potentially wanting to get the numbers to vote Zay out on Thursday. I've seen some people who think that Zay is actually in an okay spot if he survives this week, but I just don't see it like that, and I would bet money that Zay will be gone in the pre-jury.
I'm up against Ashley and Amy in the veto competition, and I really like my odds, so let's freaking get it, baby.
Up next, we have Captain Will. I wish I could tell you more about Will's game, but he hasn't been on the feeds too much. However, from what we've seen, he seems super chill and like a great guy. He has a good connection with Mickey and Morgan, he's building a bond with Keanu, and he has this wacky alliance with Zach, Adrian, and Ava. I could still see him being left out of whatever real power structure inevitably forms in the coming weeks, but if Will can find a way to squeeze himself in there, I think he can make it very far.
If I was 30 and I was in my military shape, I would have run circles around them dudes.
If you had asked me preseason who I thought would be one of the most well-loved players inside the house, I don't know if I would have said Ava, but she is. People are only saying the best things about Ava when her name comes up, leading me to believe that her social game is killer. She's leaking information to the right people and taking advantage of her position of safety very well. My only worry is that, as of now, I haven't seen her solidified into a tight-knit group yet, except for that super random grouping of Adrian, Zach, and Will. But if she continues being well-liked and is included in more, Ava is a shoo-in for the middle to late game.
The beds kind of remind me of my boyfriend, so heart emoji.
And lastly, we have the one returning player on this cast, Rachel. In my eyes, Rachel is doing really well, all things considered. She's naturally connecting with people in a way where she just feels like a normal player, not a former winner, and I think that's exactly what she should be doing with this group of players. She's got a great connection with Amy, a great connection with Ashley. We just saw her giving a little BB lesson to Vince, and she seemingly has earned Keanu's loyalty after she told Vince not to name him as the renom. I do worry that she could lose Amy this week and then be viewed as a big and easy target once her safety has run out. But so far, she has stayed clear of all the house drama, and I am loving watching this evolution of Rachel Reilly.
I'm coming in hot.
So, now that we've gone over the 17 house guests, here is my initial ranking of the players. My winner pick from before the season began was floating towards Morgan, and she has done well enough where I feel okay locking that in. But I also want to pick Rachel because that would just be the coolest thing ever. The other players that I see as strong contenders for the crown are Zach, Lauren, Ava, and Mickey. On the next tier down, the players I think could have good potential, but I either need to see more from them, or I need to see how their decisions this week impact them, are Jimmy, Katherine, Adrian, Rylie, Vince, and Will. Going down a tier, the player that I think could be on the verge of danger is just Ashley. And lastly, the 4 players that I think are actually in the danger zone are, unsurprisingly, the 3 nominees, Amy, Zay, and Kelley, because I can still see any one of them being evicted tonight, and Keanu, because of how much I think he'll be targeted moving forward. And now, here are a few other predictions for the season. My predicted compies are going to be Rylie, Morgan, and Zach. I picked all of these before the season began, so any week 1 competitions didn't play into this. Oh, and obviously Rachel. My prediction for the first boot was Kelley. This was, again, made before the season began, and I'm feeling pretty good about it. My prediction for first juror is always a toss-up because who the heck knows, but I'm gonna go with Will. My final 2 prediction is gonna be a little crazy, but I'm locking in Adrian and Lauren. My prediction for America's favorite player is easy. It's gonna be Ava, because she is so funny and I really just want her to win it. My prediction for who I think is behind the mastermind mask, I just feel like they're gonna pick Derek or something like that. Someone boring, maybe. Can you imagine if they picked Cody? Oh my god. That would just be so boring. It's gonna be someone like Derek or Cody, though. I'm just spitting candidly right now. Who else could it be? Xavier? Oh, you know what? I think they're gonna make it a woman. No, it can't be Tiffany. She's on the Traders. Brittany Haynes would be a fun one. Brendan would be a fun one. Oh my god, can you imagine if it's Kristen? I'm gonna say it's Kristen. I'm locking in Kristen. Kristen's my guess for the mastermind. Let's go.
I said I wasn't sure, because you know what? I don't lie.
I'm so sick of you, Kristen.
Okay, now that rant's done, let's get to my last prediction. How I think the season's gonna turn out. Is it gonna be a good season? A bad season? The worst season? Well, maybe I'm jumping the gun a little too early, but this week 1 has been very exciting, and with the strategic messes and the drama that it's bringing, I really feel hopeful. I'm loving the cast, I'm loving the old school vibes, and I'm really hoping that the blockbuster competition is just as exciting as the AI arena. So, for my boldest prediction yet, I think that this season will be better than Big Brother 26 and become the best HD season of Big Brother.
Amy and I, we're the mom squad, and we'll be final 2 together. She's also a Rachel fan. That doesn't hurt.
And there we go. Please remember that we are only a handful of days into the season, and I did have to finish writing this by Tuesday morning. So everything that I said here is based on the crumbs that we have had so far. And I could be completely wrong with 90% of what I said. For all I know, Rachel could have already secured Amy's safety, or Zay could be running the house right now. Anything is possible in Big Brother. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, consider subscribing. I, of course, need to give that extra special shout out to all of my YouTube members and patrons who would assuredly be at the top of my list if they were ever cast on Big Brother. And, as always, here's a clip for you on your way out.
Who's your favorite player?
I like Dan. Dr. Will.
Yeah. I'm not the first name out of your mouth. Come on, Will.
They're making themselves targets by lifting all that damn weight.
You guys look great.
I'm gonna change into some shorter shorts. These are just like a little too long.